What's up, everybody? You're watching another episode of Live with Wolfman. I am your host, Jacob Wolfman, and this is a show about all the things that I'm interested in and all of the things that you're interested in. Sometimes we talk about forms, weapons, tricking, point fighting. We'll talk about video stuff, photography stuff, kind of all over the board. We sometimes we'll bring in a UFC fighter. Sometimes we'll bring in a sport karate champion. Sometimes we'll bring in a top-level coach. Sometimes we'll bring in the Easter Bunny. That hasn't happened yet, but it's coming soon. Watch out for the April episodes. The Easter Bunny might be popping through. Who knows? But today, I have another mythical creature. You may have seen him on the stage at the last U.S. Open, becoming a ISKA world title holder. Or you may have seen him at every hyper event that's ever happened, basically. I am super excited today to introduce, give it up to Alan Davis. What? Alan, you are live on the show.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm doing swell. So,
Good.
I'm going to assume there's like one person in the audience today that doesn't know who you are. Can you briefly explain who you are?
Oh man. All right. My name is Alan Davis, and I am a world champion. Started doing NASCA in 2013, and actually I started doing NASCA because of the Hypercamp in San Diego. So that was really the start of my NASCA career. It was really
Awesome.
cool. Good
Awesome.
time. Good
And
time.
and now, first of all, let's just clear the air right here, and establish it for the rest of time. How do you pronounce your last name?
Davis. Davis.
Davis, without
Yeah.
the E. That's right. The E is silent. And I'm super guilty of it. On the show, I have slipped out and called you Alan Davies myself,
So good.
even knowing that your name is Alan Davis, and that's just because it was cemented in my brain for so long. And everybody just kind of just calls you Alan Davies all the time because they think that you got to pronounce that E. You were telling me before the show started, apparently your mom had the same problem growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So
She's
it's really supposed to be Davies, but in in Scotland it's actually Davis. So like you're not wrong for here in America, but when you go to Scotland it's actually Davis.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an American, but I still want to call you Davis. So here's a little. Now we're gonna know who the real Wolfpack are. People that tune into the show. When you go up to Alan, and you call him Alan Davis. We'll know that you watch this show because everyone else is still gonna call him Alan Davies. Um, so let's see. I want to give a shout out first to the Wolfpack, the people that tune in every episode. Let's see who's in here today. I already said a couple hellos to Stephanie, Kaylee. What's up? One of my loyal Wolfpack members, Borja. Borja Navarro, he says that boy is a hero. That's
Hey, thank
awesome. Um, Kaylee says, Alan, you're my favorite. Mike Welch just says wrong. I don't know what he's talking about wrong. I think he's telling you that you're saying your own name wrong.
you.
Um,
Uh,
Olivia Rando's dad, AJ Rando's in the house. Cool. We got a good turnout. We got 30 live people. There's a ton more people that are watching that are just quiet in the background. Feel free to say what up. Jet Leroy, what up? You know Jet Leroy.
I do.
He did some sort of amazing artwork for you.
Yes.
E. Will Carter's here. The
Man, my
Person
computer
family's
is
here.
out right.
Jackie Daniel, awesome. So keep hitting that share button. Let's get some more people tuned in, and we're gonna talk about it. So I think the first thing that we should probably talk about, if you're okay talking about it, is what we all really want to know about, and that is how you doing?
I'm doing great. All surgeries are done. I just need to go for checkups and make sure it's not regrowing. And really, everything's going back to normal. Very slow, but it's coming along. I had my first session, I think it was a Wednesday, and I drilled some basics, and it's pretty sore. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's weird being sore from like basics. I'm not used to just doing basics for 2 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
Normally it's like 30 minutes of stretching, or not even 30 minutes. It's like maybe 15 to 20 minutes of stretching, then another 15 to 20 minutes of basics, then doing like full forms and tricking after that. So just like getting back into it for 2 hours of just like stretching and basics was it was different.
So
So
how long you been out of training?
uh, probably about a month and a half to 2 months.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's you're a superhero, man. You're gonna be not sore again in like a week. You gotta like sometimes your muscles forget how it works, and then you get sore after not doing it for a while. But
Yeah.
you'll get over that real fast. But it's just good to hear that you're healthy. I mean, I figured like you were gonna have some like talking problems or something because they did surgery in your throat, right? They
No, they did it on top of my palate.
oh up here. Eh.
Yeah, just on top of my the roof of my mouth, and
Ugh.
took a big chunk of it. It's like this big,
Oh my
probably.
gosh. Ugh.
Yeah, it's like just sitting there. It's like, yeah. Um, First surgery was to take it out, so they cut a hole, and took the whole thing out, and it was probably the size of this. Yeah, it
That's
was pretty big.
that's
Uh,
thanks for the visual.
yeah, it
I'm
was pretty big. But uh, then they had to take the bone out. So there's like three layers of your palate, and they had to take two out of three. Um, the second surgery was skin grafting for my cheek, so that's when I couldn't talk and I couldn't eat. Um,
mm,
and I lost a lot of weight. So in the beginning of September, I was 120. Now after the third surgery, uh, I was 106. So
wow.
yeah, it
That's a
was.
lot. And like you don't
Yeah,
have much to lose.
I know. It looked like a bow staff walking around. Like it was so skinny. Like, it was horrible. But now that I can eat again, I'm starting to eat more. Um, so just trying to make sure everything's going back to normal, and really try to. I really want to educate other people what the mindset is like during the event, even afterwards, and just like try to tell people like, if you keep a positive mindset, uh, it'll go much faster than what it seems like.
Mm,
But you can't. It's very hard to keep a positive mindset through the whole entire thing. It's very
sure.
hard to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so I can never say I did that because I'll be lying. I can't say that. So, but the overall thing is it was a humbling experience. It really was. Just kind of learning life skills throughout the whole experience, and just wanting to help other people, and also benefit. Why does this keep falling? My bad. I'm sorry.
It's all
Uh,
good.
um, yeah, just trying to educate other people was my main goal, as aside of trying to help myself, and just get better and get back to my normal routine, and getting ready for Hooked next month.
Are you
That's
gonna
gonna be,
go compete there? Or are you just gonna hang out? Like what are you gonna do there?
hopefully I'm gonna compete. So hopefully I'll be ready to compete.
All
I'm really.
right.
I was supposed to go to Adrenaline, but it was around the time of my surgeries,
Right.
so I had to postpone it to some other month. But we're gonna be there soon.
Now, have
So
you
slowly
ever
sure.
have you ever left the country before?
I have not. Only just to Canada, but
Only the
that's
Quebec
pretty cool.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That otherwise I haven't been anywhere else.
That's exciting, man. Um,
Yeah.
that's very cool, man. Are you going with anybody? You flying by yourself?
My mom's gonna come with me.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
Okay.
she wanted to come. So
Nice. I can't blame your mom. That's
yeah. It's
man,
cool. It's really excited.
Amsterdam's a pretty amazing city.
Is it?
It's yeah. I went there a few years ago, and you'll realize how young America is because every building there is basically older than the entire country. and you walk around and you're just like, if it almost feels like a video game, like it feels like it's like a Hollywood set or something. It doesn't feel
Mhm.
real. And like the whole city has clearly been like very articulately built throughout the years and stuff. I don't want to talk about architecture in this show. I'm just saying I love it. Amsterdam's a great city. It's really
That's
cool,
cool.
and you're gonna have a great time. And I've seen the hooked tricking samplers before from previous years, and that looks like one of the most amazing tricking events that happens on the planet. So I hope you have a blast.
Thank you.
That's gonna be awesome. Super stoked for that. Um, be careful though.
Yes.
Don't push yourself. I mean, if seriously, if you just lost 20 pounds and now you're gonna go out and like don't feel like you gotta like prove anybody to any, don't
Right.
pull a Pinto on me, okay?
All
Don't pull a Pinto on me.
right. I
Okay.
won't.
All right.
I
Thanks. I appreciate
promise.
it. Shout out to Pinto.
Yes.
That kid
Shout out
goes.
to
That kid
Pinto.
does not mess around. Um, so yeah, let's just go backtrack for a second. I just want to talk a little bit more about the whole ordeal that you just went through, um, because the top of the show or what you just said, you were like, hey, it's important to have a positive mindset through all this and stuff, and to be fair, that's kind of one of those things that everybody just says. It's like
Right.
keep your spirits up about you and all that, but you are like, you don't just talk the talk, you walk the talk. Like you walk the walk. What's the expression? You did it, man. You
uh,
lived through it. Like you showed us an example, and I got to say personally, I was just so inspired by you when you broke the news that, hi, I'm 17 and I got cancer, and the way you did it. I don't have the message pulled up here, and I'm not going to repeat it right now. But if you guys want to go through digging through Facebook to find the message, you wrote this message about it. You were just very frank and upfront about it, and very positive, and very optimistic about it. And it took real strength, and you impacted a lot of people, and a lot of people, were all freaking out, obviously, but we're also all just super inspired by the way you handled it, and I think it's just truly amazing. I mean, even internally in the hyper crew, we were all kind of like, tearing up a little bit and sending messages back and forth, like, what are we going to do? And Jordan on our team made you that video, the one about jumping higher. It
yeah.
was totally a
Yeah.
metaphor for what you were actually doing with your life. If you ever go back and look at that hyper video, it's like 20 seconds long if anybody wants to check it out. I've played it on the show a number of times, but it's a
Yeah.
great
I love that.
video.
It's great.
Yeah. So let's with that video, we kind of talked about the video was talking about how it feels to jump in the air and
Right.
how you like to defy gravity, and I really took that as a metaphor, like how you like to defy obstacles in your way, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Whether it's cancer or whether it's defeating the top competitors in the world, and just being up there. So let's transition. I'm trying to figure out a way to like transition smoothly. Let's talk
Yeah.
about your sport karate accomplishments and your defying sport karate accomplishments, because you said you started competing in 2015,
Thir-
2014, 13.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
4 years. All right.
Yep.
So in 4 years, you've gone from nobody knows your name or how to pronounce it, to now being at the top of the food chain. I mean, people still can't pronounce your name, but you're at the top of the food chain. That's amazing. That's a rare story, and it took, I think personally, I think the reason why you are where you are is it's a concoction of a couple things. One, you're naturally gifted, right? Like you can't deny the fact that you have some abilities, but not only that, you train hard. You take the fact that you have these gifts and you push them to their absolute limit. And I think the third factor that makes you excel beyond everyone else is that you're extremely humble and you're willing to listen to everyone, seek advice, make friends with everyone. You don't go out there with an ego. You don't go out there trying to prove that you're the best and like I'm better than you. And you don't have this mentality about you that like a lot of times people get caught up in when they get to that top level and everybody's, worshiping them or whatever. That's just not your style, man. You are out there making friends with everybody.
Have
Um,
fun.
yeah, having fun, right? That's a better way to put it. So tell me a little bit about let's backtrack your story. I want to start back. You said that you first got interested in this whole sport karate world at Hyper Pro Camp 2013. Is that correct?
Yeah.
T-
Oh man.
tell me about that.
I believe it was August 23rd. I attended the pro camp, and the 24th was the second day of pro camp and the AK American Open. So, it was just like, why not? Why not just have a tournament experience? If I like it, I like it, and then continue. Or if I don't like it, at least I tried it. So, just learning the basics and just making friends with everybody. Um, After competing at the tournament, I really, really enjoyed it. Just the whole environment itself was just really, it was just like really, it was high energy, and I loved the feeling. So, my second tournament was a local tournament. It was like KTOC in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I went against Danny, so that was fun. Um, and then after that, it was Twin Towers, um, and that really started when I joined NASCA, was 2014. So I just did the NASCA tournaments or just some local tournaments, uh, and I just really loved it. So joining in 2014, I didn't start from the beginning of the year. I just went to some of the bigger tournaments,
Mm.
or um, I believe I went to Battle of Atlanta, and yeah, mostly the bigger tournaments I went to, not all of them,
Sure.
just to get a feel of it and see how it all makes sense and how it's all run. So after doing that, like I spoke to my mom and my aunt, and we all came to the conclusion that we enjoyed it. So we were gonna actually join the 2015 NASCAR year and start from the beginning. AK, it was AK Grands at the time, so started from there and just went to all the tournaments, and from there it's gone uphill. And I think 2016 was probably my best year. Um, Winning my first overall grand, and being one of the first people to, I believe I'm one of the first people to win a creative forum in the um, youth division
Does that compete
on state.
nationals?
Yeah, I believe that was what it was, and I was like third or fourth person just to win with a creative forum, which really maybe change like the way I do my creative forms, because it has to be different and it can't be just like cookie cutter.
Mm.
So, um,
What do you mean by
yeah.
that?
So there's always this set format that I've always noticed is going up to judges and going. I believe it's from the left to the right to the corner to the back and back up again.
Yeah.
So this is like how it all always what I've seen. So that's how I started. But then after a while, I wanted to start doing a different format. So actually, for with this forum, I did the normal um the normal setup. I believe I did, or I might have just actually stopped in the corner. So with most of my forums now, I want to try to start in the middle or start towards the judges, something different,
Yeah.
and uh, I think that really sets you apart from other people, um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's cool. It's cool to see different things, but it really upsets me um, when I see something different and it looks really cool, but then they don't really get what they deserve
Yeah.
because I don't know. That just upsets
That's
me.
something that we've actually talked about on the show a number of times. It's almost like a plague of the sport where everybody feels like they got to do the same thing as everybody in order to win. And there's a lot of risk where people are afraid to be different and be creative and kind of, stand out for whatever reason. Um, but it's cool to hear that, that's what you want to do. You want to be different. You want to be recognized. Um, I think partly what makes you stand out, you got a couple big dynamic movements with your arms that it's a little different of how most people do. But then you also have little tiny things, right? Like let's just watch this form here. You do this little, this little pop knee kick thing,
Yeah.
It's just one of these things. It's like, yeah, it makes you stand out. It makes you, memorable. It's like, okay, nobody else is doing that. Great. It's not like it's a high level difficulty. It's just like, I'm being different. I'm being me. Um,
Right.
I think I mean we can't deny the fact that I think the other thing that makes you stand out is the fact that you got these mad hops, right? Like you can throw tricks. This is creative, so you're not actually tricking, but you can soar, and people are just absolutely excited to see you perform every time because you just launch yourself up there, and then the fact that you can launch yourself up there, you use that to your advantage, right? You put
Right.
moves in your form that accentuate, what makes you different than everyone else. Um, so this was the beginning. I remember this tournament. I remember being there. I remember you being up on that stage, and I gotta say, shout out to myself. Um, I remember back in the day, I met you at pro camp,
Yeah.
that first pro camp you ever went to. I remember you wanted to take a picture with me. I think you thought maybe I was a hyper pro or something. I was like, why are you? I don't know why you want to take a picture with me, but hey, I'm honored. Let's do it. But anyhow, I just remember you were so excited about the opportunity to compete and all this stuff, and I told you, and a lot of people told you this 100 times, that like you got the potential, man. You got it. You got the right attitude. You got the spirit. Like you have the abilities. You can go really far. All you gotta do is hone in on your skill and build it. And then I remember telling you too. I was like, dude, if you want, you can be up on that stage. I remember telling you that in 2015. I was like, just give it some time. Keep doing your thing. Bam. I called it. I called it. I was just gonna say I called it. Um, yeah. So it's really cool to see you there. And then I want to show another form. We're gonna do U.S. Open 2017.
Sure.
Now that is this the first time you won a U.S. Open?
It is.
Second time on
Yes.
stage, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So first time winning, but second time actually on ESPN. So 3 years competing when the first time you're on ESPN, fourth year competing, you're now holding a world title. Tell me
Yeah.
about this moment.
Oh man. There's there's a lot of thoughts that go through your head, at least through my head, when I'm going up onto that stage. Just knowing there's it's on ESPN and there's so many people. I don't know the number. Do you know how many people were there? Like over
No
1,000.
clue, no
So
idea.
all right. So just knowing that can make people pretty nervous. But when you know that you have people that really enjoy watching you and or your friends and there's people who support you out there, it just makes the experience more fun. And knowing that it's going to be on ESPN, it makes the whole experience really cool and you just kind of forget about all the things that you should be nervous about, or what your body or your mind says you should be nervous about. It just makes you forget about that and just enjoy the moment. And all you remember with a good forum, at least with my forum, I would just remember starting it and ending it. That's really it. Um, that really
The rest of
that's
it's
the
just
only thing.
autopilot.
Yeah, it's just you just go and do your thing. Be you. Like don't be anybody else. Don't compare yourself to anybody else
Mm,
because you are you.
mm,
And you may look up to somebody, especially when you first start. Uh, Look up to somebody and want to be like them,
mm-hmm.
and over time you'll start to figure out your own body movement and um, take something from everybody and then make it yours. um, don't be just like a copy of somebody else who's well known.
Now, who
uh,
are some people that inspired you?
uh, Matt, definitely Matt Emig did.
Yep.
Really, all the hyper pros, they really did.
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, they still do because they are in a position where I hope to be someday, and they still know a lot more than I do. And I, whenever I'm with them, I'll ask them a question. I have
Yeah.
no problem with it, and Um, just gotta have an open mind, whether if it's from teaching and they're gonna tell me their way of teaching, or if it's some kind of trick or weapon skill, whatever it is, just keep it in the back of your head, and whenever you need to use it, bring it forward and apply it to whatever you're doing.
It's awesome. That's awesome. You're kind of like you're talking like Bruce Lee. You're absorbing all of the different things and then making your own out of it, and it's cool. Um, and you're humble about it, right? And I think like I mentioned before, that's a key component to I think your success is that you're open minded and you're willing to ask people and you're willing to, continue to grow. I mean, I gotta say, I'm super proud of you of all the accomplishments you made. It's amazing to see you, up on the stage, ESPN. Having said that, I also know what you're actually capable of, and I know that for you, you're just getting started. You're just getting into your stride of like the possibilities of what you're capable of. You have skyrocketed in your abilities so quickly in the last couple of years. If you continue on that trajectory, you are going to achieve the most amazing things with the sport, with the tricks that you can land in the future. Um, you have a lot of room to grow. You know what I mean? Like you have the fact that you got that good that quick, you can now get that good if you keep training like that. And I'm just super stoked to see, what's next for Alan. You're already winning world titles, but I know that I can see it. I want to talk about I was kidding around with you before, but I want to talk about one trick in particular that amazes me, and that's your Snapu Crowd Awakener. I'm gonna try to pull it up. I think it's on. I'm assuming it's on YouTube. If I just type in Snapu Crowd Awakener,
It could be, or I don't know where it is actually. It I think there's a clip of it on.
there it is.
Oh really?
So
Oh
somebody
cool.
posted it.
Oh,
So I'm gonna play it. For those of you that don't know what a Snapu Crowd Awakener is, first, Alan, can you explain what a Snapu is?
a snafu is a mix of a side swipe and B twist all combined.
Okay.
So yeah, that's really it.
So it's a side swipe. So it's an upside down 540, and then after you complete the kick, you add an extra spin and then land.
Yep,
It's
like a 720 twist
so
without.
it's a move that was created by Steve Tirada, like 17 years ago or something like that, 15 years ago, and it's always been considered like a very high level move, and so you decided to level it up another thing, and now you did the Snapu Crowd Awakener. So tell me what a Crowd Awakener is.
Crowd Awakener. It's I believe it's a 360, and then you split at the end, and you could either face the back and land, or you could gyro it and face the front again afterwards. Um, yeah, it's just set and jump 360, split, and then
Yeah.
just land whatever way you would like to land it.
So a little history lesson for everybody out there. While Steve Trotta's out there doing the Snapu swipe, and that was like his signature move during his prime in competition. Or I don't even know if he actually did Snapus in competition. I don't think he did, but he
Oh,
invented it off the floor or out of the ring or whatever. One of his top competitors is Daniel Sterling out there, and his signature move was the Crowd Awakener. And yeah, he would jump up and go pa and do kind of like he'd kind of look like Spider-Man almost. He'd like shoot his legs out in like the splits, and then he'd like come around, and it's called the Crowd Awakener because you go whoa, that was crazy. So Alan is like, well, why not take one of the hardest moves Steve Trotta's ever done and one of the craziest moves Daniel Sterling's ever done and put them together? And now we're gonna play it. Big setup for this trick. Took way longer to talk about the trick than actually see it because it's so fast. And there's a little bit of a delay. So you did the Snapu Crowd Awakener. So you do an inverted upside down 540, and then before you land, you spin around, and you do that. Now, what gave you, like, what happened in this clip that we're watching? Did you just one day are like, I want to try it, or someone bet
yeah,
you to do it, or what happened?
I was drilling snapper round combos, and then I wanted to do Snapu. I believe it's Snapu Shuriken or something weird.
Yeah,
Oh, and there goes the phone. Um,
it's all good.
what was it? Oh yeah. So then we're just like, hey, uh, try Snapu Crowd Awakener, and I know that we could do touch and raise a full Crowd Awakener, and
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like the same motion. So I just did Snapu and Crowd Awakener out of it, and it's an under rotation almost
Mm.
of I believe no. Yeah, it's a little bit under rotated from a snap around. The round you have to come all the way to front side, and then uh, the crowd awakener you're in between the front side and back side. So you're like right in the middle when you do it. So a little bit harder to do, but it's cool. I love it.
It's awesome. And,
I
and
love
I
it.
mean, a Snapu round is another thing. It's a very underrated, or yeah, I'd say it's underrated. It's not well known.
Right.
Because there's very few people in the world that do Snapu rounds. And Snapu round again, it's the inverted side swipe or the inverted 540, and then you come around and do a round kick before you land. Um, and and that's like butter for you, man. That's like really easy.
Yeah, just trying to take a move that's not popular or not popular, like not used often, and make it my strong point. So Snafu in general was really cool. Got that consistently. Then try Snafu round. Then move on to Snafu swing or Snafu um, Snapu Shuriken, Snapu Crowd Awakener. I'll probably never do a Snapu Hyper just because of the knee. I'll probably never do that.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's
Yeah.
a very dangerous move, and actually, another like little historical bit for everybody listening. A hyper snapu is it's the inverted everything we're talking about, the inverted 540, a spin, but then you still land on your kicking leg, and the torque that's involved with that. There's a really high risk of snapping your ankle or hurting your knee with that particular trick. And there's a long period of time where trickers were afraid to do that. Probably 5, 6, maybe even 7 years, where there weren't any trickers on the face of the earth daring to do that move because there was a well-known tricker way back in the day who busted his leg and he was done tricking forever. It ended his career. So it was a really dangerous move. You'll see it once in a while. There's a couple guys that have it on lock, like Alex Patterson, but it's yeah. Don't
Oh,
don't
and
don't
that
try.
guy.
Forget it. Just keep going. Just do what you're doing. So that actually leads me into another question I want to ask you about, and that's injuries. Like, have you faced any significant injuries?
Just a trampoline injury. I was doing dark side double falls, and I broke my third and fourth metatarsal bone in my left foot. Yeah, my left foot. Wasn't too bad, but
Yeah.
it put me out for a couple weeks, and I believe it was right after U.S. Open and right before Capital Classics of last year.
Oh,
But I did it.
yeah. You know what? That didn't stop you.
No,
you were
no.
still at pro camp, and you ended up being the flyer for pro camp that year because
Yeah, oh yeah,
we did the
yeah.
flash
That's
kick
great.
of you at the sunset at the beach, and like it's such you had a broken foot, you still did a beautiful flash kick and ended up being the poster for the whole camp.
Actually,
So
that picture. I love that picture.
yeah, it's awesome. Can you pull that up?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to give myself again a little bit of credit. My photography work. We did what it took like 2 tries to do this, and he has a broken foot. It's pretty awesome, and that was in sand. That's cool, awesome.
I love
Um, now I'm just thinking about photography. So what my point was, why I asked about injuries, is because you've had one injury so far, and it was trampoline related.
Yep.
And the fact that you're throwing like these really difficult tricks, it's impressive, and I think it's important for people listening out there to not take your message to mean like, oh well, Alan's doing snapu fulls and Alan's doing snapu crowd awakeners. Well, he's not hurt. I should just do it. what
So
is when do you feel it's safe to try something that's a little bit harder than what you can already do?
take it step by step.
Okay.
Um, if you're having trouble with a trick, go back to the basics that lead up to that bigger trick. So if I'm having trouble with a snafu in general, I
Mm-hmm.
need to drill my B twist,
Mm.
my 540, my
Mm.
side swipe,
Mm.
my 720 twist without the kick. I
Mm.
need to drill those before combining everything.
Yeah. Awesome
Really
advice.
do that. Like, don't really don't compare yourself to other people. Everybody works at a different pace, whether if it's in school or tricking, whatever you're doing, everybody works at a different pace. So eventually you will get it, but you need to work up to it. It's really important. Like, that's how you won't get hurt easily. Work it up. Work up to it.
Very good advice. And you're saying the same thing that my guest from last week is saying. His name's Dan Perez. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy.
Nah, I don't know who he
Yeah,
is.
he's this guy. He thinks he knows a thing or two about tricking, but
Uh,
he was saying this that same thing. He's like, if you want to progress, don't think up, think down. Go back to your basics, go back to your fundamentals, and figure out which fundamentals you need to work on and master. And then once
yeah,
you've mastered all of these fundamentals, now you can use them to build up a level. So everybody watching this today, don't be like I gotta be as good as Alan. And Alan, you said it perfectly, right? Don't compare yourself to others.
don't.
Go at your own pace. So very very wise words. And how old are you now?
I'm 17.
17. So next year is your last year as a junior, or are you going up to adults?
Going up to adults this year.
Oh no! Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that is
Yep.
scary. Are you excited? You're doing the circuit, I assume, next year?
Yeah, hopefully I'll be at most of them. Probably not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm.
I really am. It's gonna be a new experience and actually going against everybody that I look up to at once. Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting.
It will be. That's a mild way to put it. It's gonna be. It's gonna be a really intense 2018,
It is, but that's what's gonna be fun about it. It's
right?
gonna be head to head with everybody, and it's gonna be fun.
Do you?
I'm not looking to make any enemies. Just willing to have fun. That's it.
Yeah. Well, have you ever made an enemy? You don't have to answer that, but um,
So I don't. I don't think so.
no.
Or I try not to.
I mean, I'm sure you've made a lot of people super motivated. But
Hope.
yeah. Uh,
I hope so.
if you guys in the chat today, you have any questions you want to ask Alan at any point, feel free. Drop your questions in the live feed. We'll be answering them as the show goes on. I forgot to mention that before. We're already 50 something minutes into the show. I forgot to drop the fact that
Right?
we can do yeah, it goes fast, man. I'm telling you.
Jeez.
Yeah. So another thing I just wanted to ask you is just some general advice. So for somebody that wants to become a world champion, they want to get up on the stage, they want to get good at tricks, or they want to get at forms. What's some advice for that competitor?
Love the process just as much as you love the prize. Love it.
Mm,
It's gonna be frustrating. It will be, but eventually you'll be there.
that's
And
beautiful.
it'll be like those moments where you know you should have won, but you didn't. That's okay. That's okay. Because really, you are progressing in your own way. Maybe you're not getting those first place all the time, but if you're going from getting fifth place in the beginning of the year to getting third place or whatever kind of place you're getting, you're really progressing. You are. You're not going backwards. So love the process just as much as you love the prize.
It's great advice. And now you know what that applies obviously to life itself. It applies to if you're just training in martial arts, right?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people treat the black belt as the end of the line. It's like you got the black belt and then everybody just quits it, but it's not, right? There was the journey of starting as a white belt and working your way up and going through the ranks. That's the part that you're supposed to cherish, and those are the memories you're gonna have. And then once you get your black belt, it's just kind of like a check mark on that spectrum, and
Yeah.
it just keeps going. And just enjoy every minute of it. You are a wise man,
Thank you.
wise young man. So I want to know what the future is for Alan. Are you still looking into being a fireman? Is that the goal?
Yep. Yep. So this year, hopefully, this summer, I'm gonna go to EMT school. I just applied for the rescue squad here, so hopefully, I'm gonna be doing that in about a month.
Wow.
Uh, Go to EMT school, then go to another one, get some more experience, and then go to the academy when I'm 18 or maybe 19, just to get everything kind of spaced out a little bit, so it's not all on top of each other. So hopefully 19 go to the academy. You don't really need college for being a firefighter, but to get promoted and have extra knowledge, you should. So I'm gonna try to do that, and yeah, that's really it. That's
I know before you decided you wanted to be a fireman, you had an interest in the police force as well.
yeah.
You did some like junior police stuff. What
Yep.
what's your fascination with police and fire and all that?
Just the fact that we can help people in a time of need is probably the best feeling in the world. It really is. And just not even being a firefighter or a police officer and just going out with them on these calls and being able to help is just really it's good. It's a great feeling. And I know that when I was going through the whole event before, I was talking to most of them, and that's what I want to do for other people. Whether or not if I do make it to being a firefighter, an EMT, police officer, whatever, I just want to be able to help people mentally, physically, or whatever way I could possibly help people. If I'm not doing martial arts anymore either, um, just want to be able to help. Um, so motivational speaking, I think that'd be cool. I want to do that.
You're pretty good
Uh,
at it already. I think you can start that career right now.
Thank you. So, like, actually, tomorrow I'm gonna do an assembly for school. It's um, a mindset thing. So it's like a class, and the teacher is gonna put up a video, and I'm just gonna talk about the experience and the mindset behind it, and how to, or the best ways to deal with a tough situation in your life. You can never tell somebody how to deal with it because everybody's different. You
Mm-hmm.
never tell somebody how to really, really deal with something. So every situation is different. Everybody's mind is different, but we can fall into, if not the same, a similar category, which the ways to deal with it can help.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
Um, do you do martial arts seminars as well?
I do. Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a plug right now. Shout out to any instructor out there. You want to have this young man, this motivational speaker, one of the top trickers, one of the top competitors in the world. Talk to this guy. Go hit him up on Facebook. Bring him to your school. I
Yeah.
think he would do such a fantastic job motivating your students, your next level competitors. Talk to this guy. Book him. Book him. Seriously. All right, enough of the plug.
Thank
I
you.
just had I just had to plug it, man. Yeah, like you, I think you deserve to get some love around there. And I think sometimes people just need a little bit of a push. They don't realize like, oh yeah, I could bring him out to my school. So that was a little push to.
Thank you very much. I
You know who I'm
appreciate
talking to? Yeah, I'm talking to you. Come on,
it.
send him a message right after the show. Um, I got a question for you, Alan.
Sure.
We kind of covered this already a little bit, but somebody asked it, so I might as well just specifically answer it. Jerry says, and this is a long paragraph, so bear with me. He says, I don't quite know how to phrase this question about your success on NASCA, but here it goes. New people that come into NASCA a lot of times believe that people are on stage, have always been on stage, but that's not always true. Most people are on NASCA for a while before they hit that star level. So my question is, how long did you compete on NASCA before finding success? And what did you change in your training to get to that star level you're at now? So I'm gonna modify his question a little bit. And what I want to know is, at what level did you think you found success? When was it when you're like, I made it? Or have you thought that in your head? And then, did you do anything to change at that moment in time? So first off, first question, let's break it up. Let's break down that. Was there a moment in time where you're like, I found success?
The very end of 2015 was the I believe the time where I believe that um or was it? No, it was AKA Grands, the 2015, the first tournament I ever made it to runoffs in a actually when I joined NASCA. That was probably the first time I ever made it to runoffs, and every time after that I made it to runoffs in some kind of creative um creative division. But then my next goal was to make it in some kind of extreme or musical division. So the next year was more of creative and extreme or musical. Um, what I changed was working on my karate. The tricks were kind of there; they were there, but it wasn't to its full potential yet.
Mm,
But my karate was not good at all. It
mm,
really wasn't. So, uh, based on what a lot of people have told me, um, I had to really apply it. Like, there's a lot of martial artists out there who um, get advice, and then a year later, they're doing the same exact thing as what you told them to fix. And I don't want to be known as that kind of person because nobody would ever want to tell me anything again because I'm not going to apply it.
mm-hmm.
Um, So, like, when you get advice, try your best to apply it, even if it doesn't work. Like, try to work it out, or just figure out a way that it may work for you. Um, just take it, see what happens. If it doesn't work, that's okay. At least you tried. Um, and if it doesn't work, find out your own way, or ask somebody else. Watch videos. That's what I did. I watched a lot of videos
Mm.
and just asking a lot of questions. So I really encourage you to ask questions to change the way um, you train, or just the way you see your form layout. Watch things, ask questions. So that's really when things start to change for me. The beginning of 2015 and really everything after that
Awesome.
is,
And
yeah.
so, do you think it doesn't really sound like you made much of a shift in your training style? It was like always stay open minded, and each level of success just leads to another level, and just
Yeah,
it wasn't like you got a little you won on stage one day and you're like, I have to go home and work twice as hard now. Was it always just like, I'm always working twice as hard? Like, you don't feel
yeah.
like you changed much? More motivated, less motivated? How do you feel when you lose?
I'm just when I lose, I lose, but I have to go home and train whatever I felt wasn't my strong suit that day.
Yeah.
I'll go home and review the video and say, oh, I fell on that, or I messed up here, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
Or even if I didn't mess up at all, and the judge told me that this person did better than me that day.
Do you ask the judges for their opinion?
Yeah, I do.
How
It's
often?
um not too often, but uh, actually when I first started, I asked them like almost every division because it was like a different score.
Yeah.
Um, but by asking, it really made me realize what I need to work on, and now that what they've said I've applied to my forms, the changes started to happen, and that's when I started making it to runoffs in 2015 because when 2013 and 14 asking questions. Um, and even to this day, I still ask questions, and it helps. But sometimes it is confusing because one judge will say, "Work on your basics or stance or more chuck work or something," and I'll do that. And then they'll say more tricks, then I'll do that, and it's kind of it's a little confusing. But
Yeah,
then you have to find a perfect balance of what you should do: more tricks and basics. You have to kind of balance it out.
for sure. And I do think that there is like a little inherent difficulty, I guess, by being open-minded, if you're willing to listen to everybody's opinions, you end up getting a lot of opinions. And so you kind of have to, sort through and figure out, what's good feedback and what is kind of like not something you really need to worry about, right?
Right.
You kind of got to figure that out. So that's tricky. But that's not to say you shouldn't be asking for people's opinions and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of tricky. Like, you'll have those people who are telling you things that you've already known,
Yeah.
um, and you're working on it now. So when they tell you that you have to work on it and you're already aware, maybe you have to work on it twice as much as what you were before. Um, if it's something new, review it, talk to your coach or whoever, and ask, like, is this really true? Am I needing to do more of this, or am I needing to do less of that? And if you come to a conclusion whether you should work on it more or less, so whatever it is, it is. So
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, that's really what I do. Uh, at every tournament, try to find little things that will make a big difference.
Cool. Alan, our hour is pretty much up at this point.
All right.
I wanna close out the show and just give you like the final word. Anything you want to say to the people out there watching live with Wolfman, my Wolf Pack, um, you get to end it.
Just be phenomenal. Be you, make a difference. And a lot of people think selfishness is a negative thing, but if you're not mentally prepared to make a difference, then you have to be selfish in order to be selfless. So always remember that. Focus on bettering yourself in order to better other people.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That is such good advice.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
yeah. I know it's a weird thing to say, right? Be selfish, but
Yeah.
that's great advice. Like seriously, I wish there was a shirt that just said "Be selfish," because you can't help others unless you help yourself, right? Unless you are
Right.
strong enough to take care of your own, how do you expect to take care of anyone else? So that's wonderful advice, Alan. Thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody that's listening, it's Alan Davis, not Alan Davies. So if amongst all the inspirational talk and all the great wisdom that we shared today, if you just take home the fact that his last name is pronounced Davis, I think it's a win. Um, but Alan, again, thank you for coming on the show. Another great
Thank you.
episode. Thanks to all the Wolfpack tuning in. We had a pretty good turnout today. One of our larger episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's awesome news. If you guys haven't yet, there's a couple things I really want you all to do. First off, you got to join the Live with Wolfman Facebook group, so that we can all kind of chat amongst ourselves. And the other thing is make sure that you're subscribing to this channel on YouTube so you can watch all the archived episodes. I'm working on getting a podcast thing set up so that you'll be able to just listen to these in the future, which will be great. But that's it for today. Tomorrow, I have Mario Del Campo coming on the show. He is a tournament promoter for one of Mexico's coolest tournaments out there. He's also he's basically the head of the Hyper Latin America division. So he'll be talking with us about all the things that's going on in Latin America, some of the competitors out there that we don't get to see too much because of, frankly, a language barrier. So we'll probably have a translator on with us as well. But every episode is something new and different. Make sure you tune in for tomorrow and every day. And instructors out there, you want to book this guy to come to your school, hit him up, private message him after the show. With that, we all gots to go. I hope you have a good one. Peace out. Yo.